I'm Emma, all booked up, and welcome to my first book haul. So the first book I'm going to talk to you about today is the first instalment of the Crescent City series, House of Earth and Blood. Now, Sarah J Maas is one of my favourite authors. I absolutely adore her world building and character development. I know it's not for everyone, but I'm definitely a fan. She currently has out her Throne of Glass series, which is YA. I've currently not read that, but I'm definitely going to get onto it. She also has our Court of Thorns and Roses series, which is amazing in my eyes. Now, that series is YA but borderline new adults, and now she's made the jump from that to an adult fantasy series. So I'm really excited to see how Sarah J Maas's writing style develops in her new adult fantasy series compared to her other series. We do know she likes to follow the same kind of themes and styles, but I'm really excited to see what she has next in store. This is an adult urban fantasy which follows the character Bryce, who is half fae, half human, which we know Sarah J Maas loves a bit of fae, and frankly, so do I. So Bryce's world is turned upside down when her friends were brutally murdered. So she teams up with Archangel Hunt to find out what actually happened that night. Now, that's not a spoiler, it's in the synopsis, but I am so excited to start this. I'm just a little bit worried because my expectations of it are pretty high, but we'll see how it goes. The next book I've got is 99% Men by Sally Thorne. Now, I absolutely adore Sally Thorne's debut novel, The Hating Game. It is one of my favourite romance novels now, and so I definitely had to pick this up. Not gonna lie, I picked it up even quicker when I found out that there's an epilogue to The Hating Game at the back, which I have already read. But anyway, this is a friends to lovers romance book which follows Darcy Barrett, who's a photographer slash bartender who is still living in her grandmother's cottage. Now, her grandmother has passed away, and she left the cottage to both her and her twin brother, who she doesn't really get along with too well. And she left it with instructions that she wants it to be renovated. So her twin brother contracts to the house their childhood friend Tom, who Darcy has had a crush on ever since she first met him, and she's never been able to get over it. Very similarly, I also have Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. Now, I haven't read any of Tessa Bailey's other books, but I have heard good things. This is another Friends to Lovers book which follows Georgette, who is a children's party entertainer, so no one really takes her seriously. Her family own this home renovations company, but she's not really involved in it. And she's had the biggest crush ever on Travis, her brother's best friend. Now, Travis is a baseball player with a bad reputation, and he needs to clean up his act to get the job that he's after. So what Georgie proposes is that they fake date to reach their respective goals, so that she as well isn't seen as a child anymore. Yeah, this just seems like a really fun premise, and I can't wait to give it a go. The next book I've got is Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sarapetis. Now, this is a YA historical fiction novel, and it's set in Lithuania during World War II. And it follows the story of Lena and her family as one night they're all arrested by the Soviet guards. Now, during this, Lena is separated from her father, and they're then taken to concentration camps. And throughout the story, Lena does these paintings and drawings to try and communicate to her father in the hope that one day they might reunite. Now, I've learned a lot about World War II and the Holocaust, but I've never really learned a lot about Stalin's part in the war and what he did to the Lithuanian people. So I think this is going to be a really great insight to a lesser known part of history and the war. The last book I've got to share with you today is Flatshare by Beth O'Leary. Now, this follows the story of two strangers, Tiffy and Leon, as they decide to share a one-bedroom flat together. So, Leon's a night nurse. He works really long, late shifts and is only really in his apartment from 9 till 5. He's having a lot of money problems, and so he decides to put an ad out looking for a roommate who can use his flat when he's not there. Then we have Tiffy, who's trying to get over a really bad breakup. She's looking for somewhere to stay, but is also struggling a bit with money. Thing to point out, this book is set in London, which is super expensive to live in. So Tiffy decides to move on in with Leon. They never really see each other, but they get to know each other through their different possessions, and they leave each other wee notes to communicate. And I'm guessing that further on in the book they will meet, and this will become another friends to lovers romance. Gosh, I've talked so much about friends to lovers romances in this video, which is strange because it's not my favourite trope, but I am really excited to dive on into these books. If you are still here, thanks so much for watching my first book haul, and I'll hopefully see you next time. Bye!